this camera around. Is there a way to zoom this out? Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, we're trying to figure out the camera here, and apparently, it's not going to go super wide angle. So let me just switch this around. So apparently I can't use the wide angle option on the iPhone, which means I need to do this. And I need to move this further away. Hey kitty. Hey kitty.
Their natural environment.
Yeah, I know. Well, but it's my natural environment to be building stuff on YouTube.
So
This happens quite a lot.
Free.
Influencer.
Hello! I know I need to get the chat up over here. But we are working on this. I need to also put in some emergency power to make sure this doesn't run out. The cats are sort of wondering why I have the...
Appropriated their space.
I've basically, yeah, there's a cat space here and I've taken it over. So yeah, Kitty, you can go there. Don't worry.
Tank's too stupid. He's literally going to use the tripod.
Tag is probably going to knock the tripod over. Hello! Yes, basically about a week ago I realized I needed a new PC. And long complicated reason for this. I can't read the chat until I bring up my stream here. But we're going to do the build tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to do the whole thing. I need to find myself now. Which is really funny. New PC building. Hey, I can see myself. Look at this. Oh, look at that dashing young man there. Oh, whole 50 years old. Yes. So yes, we have a bunch of hardware here. Obviously, I'm going to start. We've got a CPU. It's a Intel i7 13700K. K means I can unlock it. It's overclockable. We have an Aorus... was it Gigabyte Z790? So 790 is the new generation of chipset for the Raptor Lake processors. This is a Raptor Lake. This is the latest. I was optimizing for single core clock speed, right? Which is really important for things like Kerbal Space Program. That means that basically means I didn't go with AMD, and I know that you can get way more threads for way less money, but I needed to get way more clock speed in one core. That's the whole thing, right? So Z790, we have an i7, we're doing a Samsung 2 terabyte, little heart, SSD. It's the tiny little ones on the motherboard. We have the G-Skill Ripjaw S5 DDR5 memory. That's 64 gigabytes of the stuff in basically 2 sticks. I have a monster power supply. This is a Superflower Platinum, like 1 kilowatt. And it is going to be severely undertaxed because I'm actually not going to be putting a fancy graphics card in it. What I'm doing is currently I'm going to transplant the existing GeForce 3070 that I have in my other machine into this machine. But initially, we're actually borrowing Orion's Christmas present. But Orion's Christmas present was this GeForce 1660. Wasn't particularly, like it was twice as fast as what he had in his computer. However, his computer is 10 years old.
300% to 400% better.
It was over 200% better, yes. But his computer just wouldn't boot with this plugged in. And so I came to the decision that it was time to pass on my 7-year-old PC. And so this will ultimately go in my old computer. My current graphics card will go in this new one. And maybe a year from now, I'll get something wacky like a GeForce 5090 or something crazy. Yeah, 3070 is pretty good. No, I've just started. So the next, so we have a monster CPU cooler here. Because I want plenty of headroom. I'm still going with air cooling. I'm not like super hardcore PC builder, but I figured I would get a big fat CPU cooler because I do actually want to see if I can get some extra performance out of those cores. And finally, over here, it is a Fractal Design Define 7 computer case. Basically, I like the Fractal Design Define series because they are nice and quiet. Now I can rig this for a bit more airflow. I will probably do that depending upon where my clock speed ends up sitting. But I think this is going to work out. So I guess the first thing we're going to do is get this monster out of its closet. Yeah, I do have a DVD writer because honestly, I need to be able to rip discs. Like, I still have stuff. Oh, look, Dragon! You're waiting until AMD brings out the Ryzen 8950 X3D. I totally respect you. I think that the AMD hardware, it's really to their credit, the performance that they've got lately. I would have loved one of those, but I need the core clock, single core clock. Also, P Botu Hulu. Good day. Firstest is superior chat question for later. How hard would it be to deorbit into a polar landing? Well, we're going to have to do that to get to the moon. We're going to be going through polar landings to get to the moon, right? So it's not that hard. It's just, honestly, the speed of the planet's surface is a lot lower than the speed of the stuff in orbit. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got accessories for the Fractal Design stuff. I'm presuming this is just like all the cabling and stuff. And we have another super chat from Ned M. Thank you very much, Ned. Okay, and it's asking me if I want to buy my own super chat. No, unfortunately, I've spent all my money on a new computer. So actually, today I was really hoping to go flying and finally get allowed to prove myself so I can fly solo. But the weather would not let up, and it delivered cloud ceilings or cloud decks of 2,000 feet, which was insufficient for me to demonstrate stalls and stuff. Okay, so what have we got? We get zip ties and screws, and this is the high airflow top for the computer. Don't need to worry about that right now, so let's put that over to the side. I'm so excited. Okay, Orion, what are you trying to do? Orion's trying to give me some sushi. Okay, already getting into a food stream. Anthony Miller! Okay, check the firmware. Certain versions cause failed drives. Okay, this is a 980? Which one is that? Wait, 980? What are you talking? Oh, the 980 Pro, the Samsung? Okay. I will have to check that. I'm presuming I can do it once I've built it. Oh, look at this. Cola Games is buying a super chat on my behalf. I presume that's Norwegian krona rather than North Korean dollar, right? Okay. Whoa. Deep. Oh yeah. Well, thank you. I will check about those firmware alerts. Very important to know. Oh, look at this thing. Sweet. Now, what's the top and what's the bottom? This is the bottom. I am having a beer. You want me to do the Henry Cavill thing and show my biceps? Because honestly, I'm not. Yeah, it's a long time since I've really been good at that. That 5-inch drive won't work. That's hilarious. Do I lift? Not really. So apparently this 5-inch drive won't work in this thing. Well, that's great. This is what happens when you buy stuff on the internet. I'm a complete amateur. Now, how do I even open the front of this case? Yeah, maybe I'll have to just use an external, put it in an enclosure or something. That is hilarious. Well, I guess I spent 20 bucks on a DVD drive that won't work in this thing. Okay. There's too much going on. There's too much going on in here. Okay. Gotta drink a beer first. Specs. Yeah, 64 gigs of memory. You know, i7, 30, 13 big numbers. KSP2, well, guess why I'm building a new PC? Okay, you've tried to go back to playing some MS Flight Sim, but your third Thrustmaster has the Z-axis jumping all around. Okay, how do I open this thing up? We've got stuff on the back here. This looks very cool, but I don't actually know how to open it. Okay, so that's like a fan there. There's probably rear thumb screws. That's what I thought. Have you ever tried VB or VR? I mean, I can certainly see inside this case here. This is the case. This is for the power supply. There's space for. I'll be able to make this work. Don't worry. Thumbs up. Okay. So this panel here does not appear to want to come off because it's a single piece here. Is there instructions? I should probably look at the instructions, right? I know, I'm an elite hacker. I used to know all about breaking into computers, and now I can't even open my new computer case. Yeah, so one thing I did do with the cooler was I actually picked the cooler because it was one of the ones that told me exactly how big the space was above the memory. And so I had checked, I wanted a cooler that would be clear of my memory. Okay, builder's guide. Okay. Let's see, does it show? This doesn't show me anything about opening this up. Remove side panels. Okay, oh there, you just push that. Isn't that hilarious? So one of the things I like about the Fractal design cases is they have this nice padding that helps, helps block sound. Because being quiet is actually really important for a person that is recording stuff on YouTube all the time. So first thing we're gonna do, I guess, is put in the power supply. Now this is interesting, there's a whole channel case down here. This is different from I should have just gone with the previous Fractal design that I had. But yeah, this is a whole channel just for the power supply by the looks of things. I guess you can take these panels out if you want to. Yeah, this is not going to work for a DVD drive. So unless I had put it vertically, that would be really hilarious. Still, it looks pretty neat here. We got one fan in the back, one in the front. I did have a spare fan sitting around if I wanted. What I find interesting is that there is actually very little space to have drive trays. Yeah, I will need to figure my way around that. I might actually steal parts from my existing PC because I will need to put in some discs. I have a couple of spinning discs that do need to find a space in this. I'm sure this will work. Okay. This looks very nice. Yeah, well, it's kind of wild. This one doesn't even seem to have a regular 3.5-inch drive bays. Oh, well, I guess this is designed to put them in down here. Oh yeah, you get a couple of drive bays down underneath here for 3.5-inch discs. So that'll be good for the 2 discs that I have. And I'll need to rationalize the other discs. Belated thanks for you showing up on GB at KSP all those years ago. Watch your episodes, the reaction. It's going too fast. This is Evil Gibson. Oh, this Giant Bomb. Yeah, you know, I actually work in Giant Bomb's old offices now. Giant Bomb's offices are the CBS building in San Francisco. Okay, so here's the power supply. Let's start with getting this. I guess I'm just going to need to change what I was thinking about. I sort of just bought a DVD drive out of knowing that I always use them. but I guess I may have an external one. Yeah, I think that'll work for me though. I'll probably put another fan in since there's space for one. 3D print a 3.5-inch disc bay. Yeah, that might work. You can tell that I'm not a PC building pro because I just went through and dug over the stuff that I wanted. Okay, oh look at this. So this is a nice, oh my god, look at this packaging here. This is like a little bag with the cables, Velcro and everything. Oh, look at the quality of this. Nice. You know, when we bought our first PC in Scotland, at some point we realized it was crap. And we recycled the case, and it wasn't even ATX compliant, so we ended up like mounting the motherboard on a piece of wood that we then screwed to the case. Like, thank you, Jeremy, for saying there is a Discord. Fly safe. That's right. Oh, and apparently this thing comes off as well. Good to know. So much here. Oh my word. Oh my word. I don't know. I'm sort of overloaded with like, what do I do next? So I guess I'm going to try and get the power supply in first. And I think I can just throw it in through the side. Well, let's take a look at this thing. Look at this. So I got a 1 kilowatt power supply mostly because I didn't want to have to take the power supply out in the future if things change. So this doesn't slide in like that. It needs, I guess you take this panel off and then, yeah, that works. So if you take this off, does it let you take off, does it let you access the space for the thing? I think it does. Still rocking a 1080 Ti. You know, the current GPUs have come down a lot. But one of the reasons that sort of drove this build was the fact that, so the graphics card just, you take the panel off and it just sort of slides in very easily. Right? Probably hard to see, but once you take that panel off, this just seems to go in nicely. And the only thing is, I probably want to know where all my cables are. So before I do anything, I'm actually going to take, this is where I wish I had a camera so I could take a snapshot of everything. We get motherboard, then we have all these universals. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Hey, oh my god, we've got so many chats. What KSP features am I most excited for? Frankly, I'm most excited for a game engine that doesn't grind to a halt. It's not terribly inefficient. I'm hoping that there's optimizations on that front. I think it's telling that, you know, Chris Adderley, you know, and Ortega's really playing a big role in this. So yeah, we got a CPU cable, motherboard cable. Yeah, so these are all pretty well designed. Yeah, cool. So these cables are all like universal, other than the motherboard cable. Install the PCI power connector before you install the motherboard. Some of those cases are very cramped. I'm sure this one will be fine. Look, we got a couple of little things for SSDs here. Wow, what novelty. Actual, like, discs, spinny disk things. You built a 130 terabyte storage server. Yes, I know. Sorry, gotta check these. Build safe. Thank you very much to Jeff Geerling and Clinton's. We also meant that. And David, oh yes, David's talking about his flight sim experience. There's a whole lot of stuff not actually happening here. So this will be the motherboard cable.
There's a whole lot of stuff happening here. Let me just say that.
Yeah, Sky's making sushi over there. Uh-oh, wait, frozen. Is this frozen? Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I thought the whole thing had frozen. Right, so, here we go. this worked a minute ago. What's it bumping against now? Oh, there's a bump. Oh, there's little rubber stoppers there. It's catching. There we go. So, let's start putting this back in. Oh, you know what? I should probably do it like this. I'll put these screws in. Interesting, but this is... I think I do it this way. That's how it's intended. Because the fan will be drawing air from underneath the case. Yeah, I have a 7-year-old computer, and it's a testament to how well I built that 7-year-old computer, because I'm still using it, because this, it's got like 4 cores in it. They're hyper-threading cores. They're very powerful. There was never a reason for me to upgrade. Every time I looked, it would be a lot of money for a very small incremental improvement in performance. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. Okay, so we're going to start turning screws. I do have some beer there. It is an Elysian. What's it called? A Snail Bones IPA. There we go. Get these screws in. And you know, Orion is using the PC. So when I first started playing Kerbal Space Program, I was playing it on an AMD Octron 4800. Right, so back in the early days of 64-bit systems, AMD, basically Intel was just marketing their chips by their clock speed, right? It was all about the clock speed, nothing else mattered. And that, of course, led to the Pentium 4 not being the most performant of chips. AMD, they basically said, well, we're making faster processors, but we need a bigger number. So they just decided to start giving their chips numbers that were sort of approximately based on their, their clock rate. So they're saying, this number is bigger, therefore it is going faster. So it was the fastest 64-bit processor in the first release that AMD did. And I used that I built that at a company called IME, and then when that company went out of business, I brought that home with me, and I used it for a long time. And I ran my first Kerbal stuff on that. It was very clear that it wasn't performant enough. So around the time that Planet started being added to Kerbal Space Program, I bought myself my first PC build. And I remember doing like a video about it back then. I need access to my beer. My beer is here. And so I think that computer must have been 10 years old. And I was doing that for a while, and then basically it was Star Citizen that was the one that was like, well, I better get myself a faster computer because I'm having some real performance issues here. That old system had a Radeon 7970 in it, and that graphics card is still the one sitting in that computer running it. Orion is running a very old graphics card. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, this one second. Nice to see the correct lubricant being used. Yes, beer. I need a little more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug these cables in for the GPU, because that's pretty important. Am I a fan of Elite Dangerous? Listen, I played the alpha of Elite Dangerous and, got to hang out with David Braben when they were promoting it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I might need a light here. This is where I need to find my little flashlight. Orion, can you hand me a flashlight? No, the little one. Okay, so it's 4 back there.
Is that even a light?
What?
so bad.
What?
That light is so dim.
Yeah, but it's all I need. There we go. Okay.
I just tricked myself for like 2 seconds thinking this was Diet Dr. Pepper.
Okay, I think I got it. There we go.
You're running out. You're gonna go into Dr. Pepper withdrawals.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a great reason. Yeah, Evil Gibson is talking about Intel hypervisors, which are very useful if you want to do things like malware analysis. Totally remember that. No, Orion got a graphics card for Christmas and he's sticking with that one. He's fine. So anyway, that's the PC that Orion has now. And it currently has a 7970 in it, and then I got him this GeForce GTX 1660 Super, but it just doesn't, hasn't performed, it hasn't worked. Okay, yeah, this goes in this way. I'm gonna make sure this comes out. Oh, I love modular. This needs to go this way. Orion's just out of shot there. If you want to say hi, Orion.
Hi.
People are like, oh, Orion, computers. This is where I need more light. It's way too hard. I know normally I'm building Lego in these streams, but today we are going with computers. I actually have a special Lego set that I need to build. You know what? I need to pop this out. This is wrong. Orion like the Metallica song. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Try this again. There we go. Oh, that's it, finally. I think I basically had the cables the wrong way around and I was brute forcing them, so I've already broken something. There we go. Clickety click! I hope you're preparing for KSP2. That is exactly what it is. By the way, I will be out of town next week. I can't tell you why. But it'll be fun. Ooh, cables. Look at all these headers on this thing. So cool. These internal cables are like pretty impressive now. Okay. For a rocket launch, you can guess, I am not going to be in the USA next week. I'll say that. Okay, so now we've got this here. I think the next thing I should focus on is getting the motherboard in. And that might actually be problematic, but I think that's the way I'm going to start. Poland for Witcher 3. I would love to go to Poland. Okay. So technically this is a gaming motherboard, because I'm a cheapskate. I'm ultimately going to reuse my own old graphics card. What is this? Some LED framework? I mean, the Z790 is great. It's just that there's the sort of proper boards and then there's the gaming board. Yeah, this has a lot of LED headers, but the computer is actually sitting underneath my desk, so I don't have any need for it. Oh, look at, oh, I'm gonna take this over to the camera. Oh, look at this beautiful piece of hardware. Oh yeah. Ooh, sexy. Oh, there's heat sinks everywhere on this thing. It's like, let's put another heat sink on it. And it has amp up audio. By the way, this one doesn't have surround sound audio, which is fine, to be honest. So, what I need to do, very gently, bring this down and align it with the holes. Excellent. This is looking good. Scott, where are my anti-static? Whatever. Oh, I'm touching things. Like, seriously. Anti-static. No, the back plate is just like built in. It's great, the back plate just totally aligns. Let's move this out the way. It just aligns beautifully with the everything there. Look at all those headers. So now the question is, do I have screws? Because I'm presuming the screws come with the case, which means they would be in here. This is me making assumptions about what we might find in it. Oh no, it is definitely, it's a K. It's absolutely a K. K series. So, now, it's been so long since I built a PC, which size of screws am I going to use? Let's just check the manual to make sure I use the correct C. It does have SPDIF, or SPDIF. Water cooling options. Oh, I can remove those inlays, huh? Good to know. Possible fan locations, possible water cooling, great. Oh no, I'm going to put I'm not going to put the motherboard. I'm not putting the CPU in outside of the case. It's just that's how I do it. Oh wait a second. Do I need to install prepare the motherboard? They say. Oh okay. They say prepare the motherboard outside, huh? Because probably I need the heatsink, right? Okay, well I'll do that. So we're going to take this out. At least it fits. So I need a space to work on this. Tell me, I do have a jar. I don't have a jar of old computer screws, but I have plenty of old computer screws sitting around. I'm going to sit it on top of this. Because you're right, what I need to do is secure the hardware for the heatsink. People are saying, oh, check the cooler mounting hardware. I'm going to check the cooler mounting hardware because this thing is an absolute monster. And I probably spent way too much money on it, but you know, this is a project. I didn't want to be caught short at some later date. And cat. So many boxes for cat. I know. Cat is just like super hyped for boxes or bags or anything. Cat is totally a PC expert. You ever wonder why they call it Cat 5 cable? Okay, here is mounting hardware. Here's the monster cooler. This is huge. It's like the Death Star. Warning, remove before installation. Let me tell you, I've seen people forget to do that. I'm going to take this little spacer out because we don't need that. Okay, this goes over here. Add a space. Look at this monster. Let me bring this over. Look at this. Would you look at the heat pipes on that? Whoa. Struts, right? Look at the, I mean, I'm just like, okay, if we're gonna do a cool, you know, air cooler, let's make sure it has plenty of headroom, right? That's my sort of philosophy at this point. I don't need massive overclocks. I'm not like super pushing the limit, but I do want to have some headroom there just in case. Because single core is really still something that matters to me. Yeah, it can easily cool down. Yes, you are absolutely right. Someone's pointing out that it can cool down to 24, whatever, 200 watts. Yeah. I'm not sure it'll get that deep because my case cooling isn't going to have enough fans initially, although I might add, I'm probably going to add another fan in there because that's what I do. Okay. Manual. So it's telling me, so what have we got here? So first, support 13 gen core processor. I will put in the memory before that for sure, don't worry, because the memory is sitting there. See, yeah, I basically have, I think I have an i7 7700K, and it works fine. Look at all that aluminium, that's correct. It's warning me to remove heat sinks around the computer. Okay, it tells me to put this, wait a second, this is the AMD. Where's the one? I gotta look for the 1700 series. LGA 1700. So there's a square, there's a cross brace that goes on behind. That's what we need. Oh look, it includes a little crappy, don't forget my flash modules too. Yep, I'll do that as well. I'm still gonna work, I'm gonna keep that in the case until, you know, this is the thing here. So this will go on the back. And then I will need 4 of these. Now it says D. I wonder if it explains sizes to me. I don't want to actually attach the thing. Okay, so I guess D is these ones. Yep, this is it here. So these will come through. And then read the instructions beforehand, right? And so then that comes in on the top, and then we do these little things, okay? And then you apply this, and you apply this, okay. So I'm wondering, I guess I should put the CPU in as well. Oh, where does the Kraken fit into my computer? That's a very good point. Where does the Kraken go? Okay. So what order do we do this in? We'll put in the framework, then we'll put the CPU in and latch it down. We'll leave the sticker on. You know, maybe before that, let's just do the flash disk. I do actually, I'm going to have to be careful because I'm going to need to get access to this in a bit, but we'll be fine. The Kraken is for RGB software. Yeah, I fully expect that I'm not gonna. There's only a few things that will really max out this PC right now. Yeah, well, I think I have to put the. Yeah. Okay, so this is the hard disk. The SSD. You chose the best sim to develop, or what? Look at this beautiful little tiny teeny little 980 Pro VNAND. We're fine. Why is this computer not being sent to space? Who said it's not being sent to space? Like, there's a future here. Okay, I'm going to take this apart. So there's a little heatsink that covers the little SSDs. And so I'm going to pop this off so I can put in the SSD.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm hoping that I find screws with a motherboard. Oh no, oh look at this. It has little, now what are these? Do I have to peel this off? I hope not. That looks like a little metal pad. I'm hoping that's a thermal pad of some sort. Oh yes, I'm Grandpa Manly, that's right, yes. So what we're gonna do, this is my disc. Oh, I can't show you this, hold on. I shall bring this out and bring it over to you. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how this locks in.
With this.
Ah, okay, that's pretty neat. Let me bring the motherboard back out for you all. So, let's just show what we just did there. It's nice that they have captive screws for all of this. So the motherboard now comes with a nice little area for your little discs. Instead of screws, it has these little levers, which it's very hard to show here. Right, there's these little levers that you twist, right? And that's how you lock them in and out of place. So it locks in, and then you turn it to pop it out. So there's no need for screws. This is like a thermal shield that presumably helps heat flow, right? It is the top slot. What are you talking about? Lever action for the win, yeah. And so anyway, what I'm going to do is now put on the stuff, framework for the CPU, put the CPU in, and then we'll get around to, well, I'm going to add the heatsink, right? The heatsink will be the last thing that I add, and I only want to do that once it's actually in the case, right? So I'm going to have to come back and put more of these in, but because I've got another one in my other computer, which I bought a 2 terabyte drive for X-Plane because it needs so much scenery. You know, yes, I filled up my drive with flight simulator scenery, right? So I'm going to just transplant that across, but right now we're not going to do that, right? Oh, this slot here? What? Is there a slot in there? Oh, wait a second. That's another heatsink there, huh? I see. This. You're saying there's another heat slot in here. That would actually make complete sense. How did I not see that? Well, yeah, you say it's a good idea to take the sticker off? Okay. That's kind of funny. Yeah, that is definitely another slot in there. Well, you see, this is why it's great to do this in a live stream, because people come and, you know, they give you advice, because people perhaps know a lot more than me. Yeah, let's put this down. There we go. We'll put this down here. So I guess I'm going to take this one off and see if there's a slot under there. Okay. By the way, thank you very much to Love Your Space Videos, and thank Taylor1038. Team up with Linus Tech Tips on the next one. Yes, I might. Down the tubes. Thank you. Okay, are you saying that my stream is already going down the tubes? The internet is a series of tubes. Yes, look at that. It's like there's a space there for an NVMe drive. Let me just do that then. Look at that lever action removal system. Isn't that perfect? Okay, so that doesn't feel right. That does not look like a... Oh, there it is. That's it, locking in now. There it is. Lock and loaded. Excellent. Okay. That is a better option, I think. And I'm guessing this is like a cooling pad that you take, peel this off, right? And it will help keep things cool. Is it? Is this a heating pad, a cooling pad? You just added 1.6 light years to the life of that SSD. Pull the sticker. I'm pulling the sticker. You're saying pull the sticker off the SSD as well, right?
I'm not very picky.
I'm leaving that on there. I mean, I'm aware of these things, I just haven't seen it in a PC, so I'm sort of like, oh, do I really want to risk this? There we go. So that's fine, that means I can put this pad back on for now. I will apply it later. Oh, this is feeling good. I mean, there were days when I guess it's been 7 years since I built things, and a lot has changed in that time. Like, the board I had one of those NVMe slots. Now there's 4 on this one. Okay. Whew, hot stuff. Let me get another beer. Oh, marvelous! Droid is paying $2 for me to say purple burglar alarm. Can you say purple burglar alarm?
Purple burger alarm.
Right, exactly. Like, what's the deal? You're technically Scottish. Okay. So let's start securing this framework on the back of the board.
We're just slightly like more Scottish than like the American people who go to like Scottish festivals.
Well, you're actually Scottish, technically.
Technically.
I'll tell you why. The Orion's not Scottish, as those people. No, okay. Okay, so there's one thing I noticed about people that go to these festivals, and I find hilarious. So I went to one of these, and thought it was cool that people were super into being Scottish. But I found it interesting that I was the only person there wearing a kilt who didn't have facial hair. Okay. Right? Do you not think? No?
You got me.
What reach are you trying to make? That everyone who wears a kilt feels like they have to have a beard?
I think that there's if you're an American and you're wearing a kilt, people are like, oh yeah, I need to get a beard.
I think there's just a lot of weak facial muscles.
Muscles?
Facial structure, bone structure.
This doesn't quite fit. I need to figure, this is not quite matching up with these pins.
You turn it upside down.
Yeah, I do have it upside down.
I actually quite enjoy this.
So it's supposed to go through here, and it's just a little tight in all dimensions, which makes me worry.
Yeah.
You don't like rolling?
No, I like
This is definitely supposed to be an LGA 1700. I wonder if there's something I can do to move these screws around a bit.
Windows.
DCS downloading now, yeah, boy.
If you're a clean girl.
Yes.
It just says LGA. Oh, there's a notch thing. Do I pull this? No. Do I slide this out? Oh, wait, there we go. It snaps a little. It's totally not obvious. where these things go. Okay, that should work now. That looks like just the right amount. There we go. So now, let's not drop it. Did you go with SCSI or IDE? Am I planning on doing tape backups? Well, apparently I've realized that I can't do DVD backups. I'm very disappointed. May your heart's light guide many waves of warmth to all your adoring fans, focused together as luminous rays of maximum warp. Yes, we're going to warp space. Here's the thing, like rays of maximum warp, isn't that like a curse in 40K? It's like, may you have great days upon the warp. May the warp find your heart. Boy, I love 40K. And that's one thing I have in common with Henry Cavill, right? Who also famously built a PC on stream. Thank you, Gavin Thomas, for these details. Because I would forget it if you weren't redoing it. So I'm going to now give these I'm going to finger tighten them, but not too much. I don't want to like break the board. This board feels so rigid, it's amazing. Who's this? John Bobcar. You're a structural engineer on the New Glenn GS2. Very cool. I'm looking forward to New Glenn flying. Okay, so next, I've got that stuff in, and next you got to put in these little things around it, and then I shall build these look right. Then I will build out the last little bit. Yeah, that's right. This goes like that. Yeah, goes up like that. And like that. Excellent. So this is huge. Yeah, I'm looking forward to New Glenn flying because, let's face it, it's still in the future. It's taking a while. Test before flight, yeah. I'm so glad I was really not sure how to approach the Columbia video. Like, as I said, I think I've said to on my Patreon, 5 years ago, I was known for Kerbal Space Program more than actual rocket science. And I sort of didn't feel that my audience was in the right place to appreciate something as solemn as this. These kids are fighting over there. There we go. The flight lessons are definitely eating a huge amount of money. I'll say that. There's not much I can do about that, but whatever. Fighting kids are breathing kids. Yeah, that's true. They're not kids anymore. Sky's 18 now. That means she's responsible for her decisions. You hate it when channels change what they do? Well, I've changed a lot over the years.
That's like saying you hate it when the band changed the style of music.
Yeah, I don't know, like I never stopped loving Radiohead. I never stopped loving U2. PC build is like the hello world of live streams. Well, that's an interesting take. Okay. Good. Please stop reminding of the inexorable march of time. Yes. Post more Eve content. Oh. I have so little time. I love Eve so much that I can't do much more than talk about how wonderful it is and how I recommend people avoid. Really think about it before they play it. Because Eve at its best is the greatest time sink. Can anyone's your shadow ban? No, Tetrahedron, you're not shadow banned, but YouTube did actually flag your comment about D's nuts. So yeah, and that's automated. That ain't me. I'm not going in there and moderating, right? That is just the YouTube algorithm saying D's nuts may be questionable, right? Old Eve. Which era of Eve is best Eve? Look at how tiny this is. This is I think this is the most expensive thing in terms of density, right? Okay, come on, just get it out of there. This is look at that array. Look at the array on that. Whoa, how many pins? How many pins are on this? Like
7.
No, there's thousands of the buggers.
Okay, well that's at least 7. So.
It's at least 7, yes. But it's at most a lot more. This is like the really delicate operation here, right?
I think 7's a good estimate.
1 million pins! Yeah, I should have just gone with I wish I'd gone with the older case that had a 5-inch disc bay. But someone was like, oh no, you should get the latest version. So, let's see, we point this. So first of all, I think oh, you know what? Aha! Yeah, I should not put that framework on right now because I need it for the lever system that unlocks the CPU. Yeah, okay, now I've just broken my motherboard. You put the cooler on a testing setup. Yeah, okay, good. There we go. Yeah, I needed to take that up first. The only channel that changed their content, and I still enjoy it, I think I probably watch 80% of the video. I've never stopped being me, right? I've always been me. And that's, I don't have like some fancy name like, I don't know. No, yeah, no, I can't even think, like, what's a, like, I'm trying to think of a channel that has a name, right? It's just
that
stopped.
Has a name?
Right, that has a name that isn't the person's name.
Oh, you mean like a user, like a normal username, and
Right.
you did it wrong?
Markiplier.
Wait, Markiplier?
Markiplier, he has his name, right?
Uh,
And PewDiePie, they're just names.
FaZe Clan.
What?
FaZe Clan.
FaZe Clan? What?
Ninja.
Ninja? That's a Twitch person.
Yeah, you know what? They had to expand. You remember?
Oh, they had to quit. They moved to Microsoft. That's right. Oh dear.
How to cake that, or how to bake that, with Anne Reardon.
Yes, I should. Okay, I'm gonna put this thing back for now because I'm terrified I'm gonna bend a pin. This is where if I drop this screw, I've ruined this motherboard. Okay, that's better. Now I can lift this thing up. Okay, this is the really delicate operation. Now how do I figure out what way this thing is keyed? There's no, it just says points that way, but that doesn't mean anything. How do I figure out what way this thing is keyed? There's usually a clue as to what way how this should be oriented. If I orient it, this is very worrying because these are really tiny pins. What does it say? Team up, fight on, install for processor first. Somebody's coming up with I'd put the cooler in. Yeah, I know. I need to do all this stuff. There's no golden triangle on the board. Tiny triangle in the corner. I see there's a tiny triangle in this corner, but there's also a tiny triangle in that corner. Line up the what notches? Buenos notches. That's what we're eating. Line up the buenos notches. Like, this is like a $400 piece of hardware. The notches are foolproof. Yeah, I believe that. The universe will always create a better fool. Guys, no messing around. Buenas noches. It can only go in one way. Famous last... Oh wait, I see a tiny notch on the top. And it's 2 notches on the bottom. I see the notches. I see the notches. There we go. Okay, it fits in. It fits in. I think. Oh dear, oh Nelly, oh Nelly. We're gonna lock this thing in. Yep, we're gonna lock this in. Lock it down. Okay, it's in there. And I braked it. No, I think that's right. Like, the text is the right way up. This feels right. But boy, there's some fun to be had. Will you do a tutorial series on KSP2? I almost certainly will. But if people aren't watching it, it might not get very far. We'll see how far it goes. Like, I don't think... it was nice to see people watch the Simple Rockets 2, Juno New Origins. But there was a lot of things. Have I read Finnegan's Wake? Long time ago. What brands do I prefer when buying computer parts? Ones that don't suck. Okay, so that's that. I'm not going to put the cooler. I've got everything else in place, right? I guess I can put the memory in. I will wait until it's in its case. I'm going to now put this into the case, because that's the main stuff that needed to go on there. I'm not going to test before case install. I'm sorry. It's just like I don't have the stuff here to actually test right now. We are just doing the build. I'm going to move it and test it elsewhere. We are just bantering and chatting. And let's just check. Brands, computer parts. Well, I like the Superflower power supplies. I like Fractal Design cases, although I didn't realize that they were stopping doing the 5-inch drives. Yeah, that's the main thing. Yes, okay, so we got a lot of that. Anyway, and I like Intel processors, mostly on the basis of their performance. I really hope that the great performance that we were seeing from AMD's amazing recent CPUs would translate to like higher single core clocks, but it doesn't appear to be the case. So yeah, we're doing this. Okay. I know a lot of you want me to test this before I put it in here, but I just can't do that for all sorts of complicated reasons. Okay, so these are the screws for the motherboard. So I need to put these in now. We'll get around to it. We'll get around to it. Don't worry. I got this. I know. It's. Oh, look, we get documentation and everything in here. The standoffs are in there. Yep. The standoffs are far enough for sure. These are just the general screws for screwing things in. They should actually work for... Wait a second. There's only 4 of those. Oh wait, or is it supposed to be these ones? It's really hard to tell. Give me a second. I need to check something. I'm forgetting which ones do what here. We got a thing about connecting the motherboard, drive trays. Yeah, I think it's these ones instead. I wish I knew what screw types went where. Okay, mounting screw for the mounting screw okay. So it's the M3 versus the 632. And I think it's the so motherboard assembly. Oh yeah, so that's 4 of those. The motherboard gets announced with CPU cooler limitations. This is where we're like, oh, this cooler's too big. No, that's fine. I get 169 millimeters to play with. I'm going to have plenty of room for this. What I'm just looking for is to make sure that the screws I'm using... Yeah, so they want me to use this kind. This is what happens when you don't build a PC in 7 years. So I incorrectly brought out the screws for other things, when in fact it should be these dinky little screws here. Okay, I'm putting these in here. Now let's see if this goes, oh that's the wrong one. This one here. You'll be writing your screw map story for See You All, bitches. Okay, whatever. Okay, that looks mostly good. These ones look too... Or would it be these? Hold on. I gotta take another look around. Oh, that's a drive screw. Yeah, this is correct. This is all fine, Scott. This is all fine. You're doing fine, Scott. Stop second guessing yourself. Is this what we're going with? Update SSD firmware after building the PC. I will. It's a wear leveling bug. Thank you. Right? What did I get? I got a 9. This is a 980 Pro, but the 990, does that have the same issue? Oh, that's just a pin there. Okay, this is where. The great thing is that unlike my build, when 990's got a ton of issues, good to know. I didn't. I can't remember what my decision was. I think it was like a cost-benefit analysis in terms of performance. You know, like drive performance on your home drive is really critical these days. I do not like the way that is wobbling. Also, I'm not sure I like the way that this motherboard power supply cable comes right over these headers with extreme proximity. It really makes it hard for some of these things to go in. Okay, is that better? Okay, that's better. Yeah, I know. Start all the screws. This is where I wish I had a little magnetized screw in this case, but I think this is Amy's screwdriver and she doesn't want that because I guess she deals with really sensitive magnetic things, or she just didn't know when she ordered it. When do I start bending hardline tubes? Now all space consolidated from Griffith is finished. Okay, what's all space consolidated? This is a hard one. This here is really in the most annoying place possible. Excellent.
Sushi.
More sushi? This is really not a... You guys are just... They've been making sushi over there the whole time. What did you do with the sushi? Why are you giggling?
Well, I think it's an understatement to say we've been making sushi.
You've been making a lot of sushi?
No.
Crap.
We've been plotting your demise or whatever.
Okay.
We've been working
Okay, I have dropped a screw, and I need a fridge magnet to help me retrieve it.
Shakespeare? Yeah.
Okay, let's try this. Oh crap. There it is there. Come on, you baby. I'm reusing my old dual voodoo setup, that is correct, yeah. I had a voodoo, in the 90s I did have one, because what happened was the observatory ordered some new computers and they sort of just ticked the box saying graphics card because they thought that like, graphics card, you needed a graphics card, and it turned out that they had onboard graphics which were reasonable, but then they had this 3D voodoo graphics card attached, and I like totally experimented with it. I didn't use it as my primary graphics card, but I found the whole like set of Linux hacks that let you send data to it and get data back. So I would use it as like a rendering pipeline, and I was actually able to do some cool stuff with it. I need a flashlight here because this is not going in right. It's not the screws wanting to go in cross-threaded. I really want to make sure that I don't do that. There we go. Found it. That's an important one because there's going to be a lot of weight applied to that screw. Okay, what is concerning me here is that that screw isn't actually going in. You have a 3DFX that you got from someone? Yeah, I spent a lot of time hacking on Linux 3D stuff very early on. I'm going to try this again. Okay, that's going to hold it in place. Maybe this will work. I don't like this screw. It doesn't seem to want to go in properly. There, that's it. Okay, that. I think that's secured. Okay. Well, that is not it. That is a worrying one. That felt like that screw was starting to. The top was starting to tear. Like, really not a good idea to strip the threads on a screw that you're using to secure a motherboard. Okay. And I'm sort of concerned that we may be missing another. I'm wondering if there's another screw missing here. Just use duct tape, I know. Space tape totally works. Stuff is a miracle. Where did I put that magnet? Did you ever mention standoffs? Yes, I've got standoffs. Standoffs are built into the case. Okay, that looks good. Okay. I am sort of concerned that this motherboard, which I just want to check that I got all the screw mounting points on it, because I've only got 8 screw mounts on this, and there's a pin in the middle. I'm wondering if I'm missing one that's hidden under something. And so I make sure the motherboard make sure the motherboard supports the memory. Okay. Well, I'll do this. That feels pretty rigid. This will be fine. Your first system you ever built was a Pentium at 300, huh? That really dates you. I'm trying to think of the first system I ever built. What was it? I don't know, but I remember I got the case. It's a little snapshot of a video of mine. And I remember playing Deus Ex on it. Yeah, this is not a thing here. We're fine. Oh, actually, yeah, because I remember building that, like, so, like, my mum, dad, they decided to buy a PC, and it was an IBM DX266, and it was really adequate. And the problem was, it had, like, weird DMA allocations, which meant that games couldn't work with the sound at the same time. So, yeah, that was a problem. And so we ended up building like an AMD system into the same case. And we had to build like our own, because the case was slightly different, we had to put a board inside it, like a wooden board, and then screw our standoffs onto that, and so everything ended up in the right place. Okay, I think we're fine here. You wonder, are you? The thermal conductivity of sticky rice is fine, don't worry. Count the crumbs from falling from my mouth. There's nothing in here. Nothing that I can see. There's certainly nothing on the processor, right? We're fine. So look, we're going to get the memory in. iPhone, what do you mean iPhone or Android? Of course it's iPhone. Only idiots use Android. That's not true. Plenty of interesting and normal people use Android, but there are people that need very specific features. So, here we go. And this is where I realize the memory is backwards. So this is 64 gigs of memory, 232 gig slots, because I frequently use shit tons of memory to do things. This is going to run, this is going to have to play games, so it's running Windows, but it will have like the Linux subsystem for Windows installed, because like that's a hellishly useful thing to have sitting around. It's going to have Windows 11 as well, because it uses the current gen Intel, and to properly use those cores, you need to have Windows 11. Okay, so next thing is this. We have these tiny, I can't believe this monster heatsink is held on by only these 2 screws. Like, really? It kind of blows my mind. Yes. Yeah, Windows subsystem for Linux. I use it all the time for just all sorts of really useful things. But it's nice. It's nice that Python works pretty well under Windows. I do a lot of stuff with that. I mean, you know, the tool chains are great. Did my boss make me? Okay, so no. I gotta put this cooler on, so that means I need to apply some thermal paste. Where's the thermal paste? Oh, wow. Deep cool thermal paste. I guess you have to snap the tip off of this or something. Just want to make sure we've got all these parts on there. Yep. I guess you just snip the tip and then apply the paste, right? Eat the thermal paste. It's yummy. Yes. So I guess, oh, okay. No. This thing just came off. Now I'm worried. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to have just snipped the tip off this. That's what I'm gonna do. Thermal grease on the fingers. Grape jelly works too. Look, silver. I'm gonna find some snips or something. I don't know. People are like, we're all worried. You're all worried about what? Some have tips. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can unscrew this, but it feels wrong because it puts it in the wrong place. But I'm just going to apply little blobs. It shows me to make like a dice pattern. I gotta be sure I don't do too much. That'll be fine. Yeah, Orion and Sky were cooking dinner. Okay, so next, this is the monster. Oh boy, I'm terrified. This is the moment of truth. You're an idiot. And I use Android, not because. I'm joking. Listen, Android is a fine operating system. My biggest problem with Android is not the operating system, actually, which is totally adequate. What I find is just a lot of the phone manufacturers don't maintain their phones because they're interested in hardware sales. Wow, this is so shiny. I'm actually seeing iridescence on this because it's so perfectly polished. Okay. Oh, come on. This is not lined up properly. I cannot see where it is on this side. I'm spreading that heat grease around a lot, I guess. Oh, you know what? Well, hold on, Scott. Like, let's just let that settle. I can take this off, right? So I should be able to see a little better if I take it off. Because the problem is, okay, I lost some screws there. I can't actually see whether that thing is mating to the screw.
There is the screw there. Maybe I should have done this first. Guess I could take these fans off. That might help. Let's take this fan out temporarily. Okay. Let's just do this. You can see that there's plenty of that in there. So let's slide this out so I can actually see where the screws are. That probably makes more sense. Again, reading instructions, not my strong point. There we go. So I'm just going to use, I think I actually need to use this. Oh dear, do I actually have a screwdriver that will go in here? Yes, I do. There we go. That's working. I know I can remove the roof of the case. That's a good point. Nice. We've got one on there. There's a bit more tension here. Yeah, thank you. The reason I'm seeing iridescence is because of polymer residue trapped in the crevices left from machining. It was a very shiny surface, but yeah, it's, I imagine it's something like that. It's like some artifact from the machining process. The CPU is an Intel i7 13700. It has 8 performance cores, 8 efficiency cores. It's unlocked, so I can overclock that thing, and that is what I intend to do. Why would it, what do you mean remove it and clean it? It's fine. Why would I clean it? It's like, because I've applied thermal grease. People like freaked out that I didn't clean off the grease and put some more in perfectly. This is latched onto the wrong section. Yeah, it does. Does the thermal grease have the correct piece of cat hair stuck in it? Look. I mean, look, we'll see how fast it goes, right? If it has some issues, great. I'll have an excuse to take it apart, but first and foremost, I need to get it running. There we go. Maybe just a little up. There, that's a little better. Whew. It's slow, you can call it, if it's slow I can call it Chungoy, huh? Boy, this is hot work. I've got all the important pieces in it now, right? I guess I got the GPU. This actually has onboard graphics. I've got the memory in it, so actually, in theory, if I plugged it all up, this would work. I'm going to put the graphics card in, but it'll be a temporary house for it, right? Needs more. I do need more beer. My throat is getting somewhat, tired. Parched. Parched is the word. But the RAM is in there. Yeah, the RAM is totally fitting in, and this fits in nicely inside the case. It's like almost the perfect size. It's beautiful. Yeah, let's put this top back on now. I think I might put some more fans up. The problem that it partly is because of where it has to sit in my house, it's going to be limited in terms of its airflow. Okay, so this comes in here. This is where all that is. And then we get one of those on the bottom.
Nice, okay.
And more struts, yes, more struts. We've got to have the struts. That's the other thing that I expected, that if I have integrated graphics, you can also offload some video encoding to it while the main GPU is doing stuff. The other thing I saw was that, okay, see now I dropped some stuff on it. Good thing is, it's only on the instructions. This is why I was not eating while I was doing any of this stuff. I've also heard some sources state that the ones with integrated graphics can overclock a little faster because the chip actually has slightly bigger area in contact with the heatsink, so you can get rid of more heat. Okay. So now I've got to find out where I connect all these CPU fans. But actually, I've got to figure out which way this is feed. Right, it's this way. Okay, so that's a story that's fake then. Yes, I've already got the CPU power hooked up. And I need a place to put it. Let's see if this sits vertically and doesn't, like, this is where we test to make sure the CPU doesn't fall down, right? Specs, fast enough. Where does the gas from? What? I'm going to run Windows and then run Windows Subsystem for Linux on that. I might reroute the cables through the back now that I'm looking at this. I could actually bring the cables up through here and it might be a better option. It's a fractal design case. More airflow, yeah, the airflow might work better that way. I think I might do that if I can fit it. So before, no rush here. Ooh, that wasabi is really hitting my nose. Don't want to be careful here. Oh. I'm going to take this out and actually try to root things. It's a number of things, and KSP2 just happens to be in the right place at the right time to blame. Anti-static wrist straps, come on. Important thing is to be always grounded with the PC. Right? Don't be running around your house on carpets. Just keep yourself grounded. Okay, so I wonder if I can get this out of here, and then this might not work. But actually, no, I think there's enough cable here. This is a motherboard cable. It comes down into this socket. Okay, that's good. Right, so it's the difference between the body and the PC. So as long as you're like, you know, touching metal, you're probably going to be fine. Also, wooden floors here, not a carpet. Cotton outfit, none of these synthetics, I'm probably fine. You ground balloons by rubbing, ground yourself by rubbing balloons on your head. Good plan. Okay. What's the most disgusting PC building stream, huh? I need to go and get another beverage. I'm eating sushi that the kids were making. It was amazing. Okay. Okay, I've returned with a Golden Road guava cart. Yes, tasty. It's a real man's beer. And by man, I mean somebody that knows that they are a man and isn't trying to prove it. Okay. I just want to get this out of the way right now. Spaceman build PC. I know it's true. I gotta do this. Oh. So what else can I try to do here? Right. So I gotta get all these fan controllers hooked up. And yeah, this motherboard didn't come with any documentation. So I guess I have to go to the internet to read the documentation, which is hard because I'm using the chat. So I'm totally gonna have to just guess where everything goes. That'll be fun. I mean, like, it's not like you guys are going to be around when I actually plug all this up, right? Power button, right. Motherboard documentation should be under inner, oh, nope, no, there's no motherboard documentation. Nope, no, there was no motherboard documentation with this. There was this tiny, tiny little thing which just says, like, it's just nothing. There's nothing in it. I'm doing the building with no manual. It's fun. When am I adding retro thrusters? Good question. So I guess you can't take the front off of this thing at all. I thought this was like the R5. I really wish I got the R5. That was the board one I had previously. Because it had like more drive bays and stuff. Bottom right of the motherboard. Okay, so let's find our, what am I looking for? Fan controllers? Oh, my eyes are not as good as they used to be. Don't tell the aviation examiner. No, I'm fine. I passed. Okay, so see, here's CPU fan. Oh, what are these? What are these ATX cables up here for? HDMI. Why are there graphics? Do I have to like power the onboard graphics up here? What are you going to use this PC for? I'm going to use it for playing Kerbal Space Program and everything else. So what is CPU? I see CPU fan and I see CPU opt. I'm presuming that means I presume the fan goes in one of these, but is there another CPU fan around here? These are system fans. These are LEDs. We have audio headers. Okay. This will be fine. And then these are my SATA ports. Okay. And then there's LED headers. Yeah, I think is CPU opt is for a second fan. That I figured it's roughly the right size. Now the only thing is, actually, I need to take these fans off and flip them through 180 degrees because of where the fan cable drops. So that's going to be a kind of slow and annoying process. I'm looking for only fans. Yes. That's a whole different kind of live stream, I imagine. There's all these nice little twisty ties. Top motherboard power plug is not ATX, it's CPU EPS 8 pin. So I need to fit that in, Fate Unleashed, right? I should plug those things in, right? Yeah, I just see ATX. I mean, what's the worst? Kerbal Space Program 2. Scott Manley OnlyFans. Well, let me tell you, it's a long time since I've been in that business. Yeah, you know what? I don't trust Linus ever since he got so much wrong about that whole Apollo computer. How I watched that video and I kept on going, no, Linus, no. What are you talking about, Linus? Okay, we're not changing the direction of fans, we're just changing the orientation. So they're still going to be sending air in the same direction. It's just that now the cables are on the same side as the fan connectors. Right? That is my cunning plan to minimize some cabling issues. Plug Runway project. Well, you know, one of the reasons I'm getting this is because Runway project needs to run faster. And I felt that given the amazing quality of the entries to Runway project, I needed to have some serious CPU that I could throw at it. It's an Athlon XP 2200, huh? Spec of my new computer. Fast enough. There we go. That's one. I think. It's really. Come on. Oh yeah, wait. I put this top on, but I should just take it back off again, right? I joke. He just. All I'm saying is, you know, don't trust Linus for very old hardware. What is going on here that I cannot... I don't like this tag. uh, 10,000. Listen. Okay, I need a flashlight here. I know I can remove the whole top. I'm just wanting to make sure I'm not there. I just needed to make sure I was not putting that in the wrong place. And now I've done that, I can actually put the twisty tie back in. There we go. So where's my twisty tie gone? Can I put it here? Twisty tie. You bought your Riva TNT off Linus when he worked at NCIX. It's crazy to think he's a worldwide... Like, anyone can be a worldwide expert if you just do it for a job, right? And let's be clear, right? both myself and Tim Dodd are not rocket scientists, right? None, like I at least have a physics background, but it doesn't matter. You just have to be like basically prepared to do the work to learn what you need to learn. You want to join your baloney fans? Wait, the computer specs, I've already said 64 gig memory, Raptor Lake i7, which has onboard graphics, but we're not really using them. Although technically this is set up with onboard graphics. We're gonna ultimately have a 3070 in it. It's got a 2 terabyte NVMe drive, and that's everything, right? It's got 1 kilowatt power supply because I want support. And I'm kind of disappointed that I went and bought this case after being recommended it, and it doesn't actually support 5.25 inch bays. Like, what's with that? I want to have a DVD drive, so now I'm going to have no DVD drive. So I'm going to have my, I do have one, but it's, since I can't really get in here. There we go. Okay, so again, take this and tighten it up. So I've got cables minimized. That's a very good question. How do I install an OS without 5.25? It's fine, because I'll be able to do the OS install without the drive in the case. That's not a problem. You can buy Windows on a USB stick, but you have to pay $20 more. Meanwhile, DVD drive is about $20. So yeah, I'm doing it that way. I have been known to actually write Hello World, but I don't know if I've ever written Hello World in a program, you know? Okay, so this is a little, this is a disk. I don't know, what is this G connector for? G connector installation guide. I guess it's like LEDs and stuff. Yeah, we got an M2 drive already in there. I want to know what this tiny little thing is. Yeah, I'm going to install Windows from a DVD. Why not? Why would I buy a USB stick? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So this is for all my sticks go into this. Okay. KSP2 will not run on Mac at launch. Hopefully it will eventually. Okay, so this one basically you put all your cables into this tiny adapter. Yeah. Yes, I know Windows blows, right? That I'm not disputing that Windows blows. Yeah, I need to get the cables to the CPU, so I maybe do that one first. So what I should probably do is bring a cable up to this here, and look, and there's okay, you guys can't see this, so I'm gonna bring a cable from up here up. Look, these get these nice little straps here. Isn't that cool? That's so nice. Why did the computers freeze? Because the windows were left open. Yes. I have a floppy drive in Orion's computer still. Orion's computer actually has a floppy drive in it. You think I have an 8 gig USB stick sitting around? Are you excited for the new EVE volumetric clouds? Yes, I do. They look very impressive. what I'm impressed by is the fact that for KSP2, Chris Adderley is very much taking a front seat in terms of the promotion. Okay, so we got a CPU connector. Okay, so let's connect the CPU connectors. Yeah, there was a time when Windows was all in court, like Microsoft was in court for monopolistic practices with Windows. Yeah, there's no way for me to do it from this side, which is kind of annoying. Where am I headed for next week? Can't tell you, but it's Europe. It's going to be very nice to automate stuff. I wish I had more spare time. Now here's the thing, will this go, it will go up. This is where I need a slightly bigger hand. Or slightly smaller hand. Maybe I should take the thing out of the case, but I think if I can, I only need to do this rarely. Modular power supplies are so nice. I remember I think Orion's computer doesn't have a modular power supply, so like all the cables are just hanging off it, right? Oh, there we go. Okay, so that is a CPU power connector. I'm not sure this is going to work. I'm going to give it a go though. I guess what I'll do is I'll stick it through this gap. And then, okay, wow, this barely doesn't actually make it through here. That's great. Okay, there we go. I'll Velcro those in place if I can at a later point, right? Yeah, yes, Kerbal Space Program 2 goes into early access at the end of the month, but it will be missing features which are currently in Kerbal Space Program 1. Right, and I'm hoping the main thing that we'll get from this is a game engine which can handle a bit more, right? That's really what I'm hoping to see here. Make sure my power cables are fully seated. Yes, I know. Okay, this is the HD, this is all the cables that I need to run through the board as well. Okay, once again, bring this down, because this needs to go in here. No more Kraken? No, it'll just have a different kind of Kraken. I'm hoping that it will be, like, I remember talking with the devs and they were like, yeah, it would be a shame if we completely had no Kraken, because like those are some of the funnest things that can happen. Okay, here's a second CPU power supply here. Velcro will be my tragic downfall. What's my favorite color? Indigo. I love indigo. Well, indigo girls are pretty cool as well. Be sure you boot up, be sure to check your staging. I will. Yeah, initially I'm actually going to probably just use onboard graphics, but once it's verified, I will switch over the GPU, and then Orion will get his GPU, and there'll be some like disk sharing going on, and somewhere on the other side, I will have a working system. It probably won't be completely migrated by the time I leave next week, but yeah. So this is a process, right? It's a process. Remember, I don't know what the specs for KSP2 are, but it won't be too difficult. Okay, let's do this. There we go. Your first car, a 1995 Ford Bronco XLT. That is cool. What are my thoughts on China? Well, I'll tell you what, the whole thing about the balloon is kind of funny. It's like, there's a lot of things it could be, but it's not spying in the traditional sense. Will I get a review copy / any content pre-release? Well, if I was, I wouldn't be allowed to tell you about it because it would be privileged information. So let's be clear, there's a lot of privileged information involved in getting access to early games like that. So I can't tell you if I did. I also couldn't deny it either. I will say that I did get a demo of something that I've been really interested in playing, and this is definitely not a game that you would associate with me, but the new, like the sequel to Cultist Simulator, I now have a demo for, and I sort of played through it, and it's got the same sort of weird, quirky behavior. I'm hoping it turns into, same kind of thing. Look, I've secured all my cables, like Velcro, you see? Nice. Does somebody give you the specs? Come on, guys, who's giving out the specs? Cheers from Paris, hello! How do you like living in the Bay? I love it in the Bay Area. California is like one of the best parts in the world. It's expensive, sure, but it is so much going for it. Like, so much, understanding of what freedom means and how to be a good citizen, just all these, like, good things. Like, amazing food if you want it. Okay, so, starting to feed these cables through. This here, how do I tell what way this goes? Is it bidirectional? No, it's not. Okay. I think it goes that way. Maybe it's not that way. Oh, there's a weird keying on this. It's like that. I'm pretty sure it's like that. Oh, brilliant, Scott. You are smart. Hey, what will I use this PC for? Everything! I will use this PC mainly for gaming and flight simming. So that's the main thing I'm using it for. Okay, now where are my other headers? So I gotta find a fan controller, system fan 1, system fan 2, so on and so forth. Let's get these in there. Yeah, I need like a 1200 watt PSU. Okay, well, I guess I'm not doing a 4090. I only get 1000 watt. I'm building the weirdest looking spaceship. Yes, well, that's how we do it around here. Oh, wait a second, this is These are LEDs. The problem I have is that I've got this light that is overhead because I'm just like, I'll just do it in my kitchen table. And the problem with that is that as soon as I go to do anything, my hand blocks the light, so I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Come on, Scott. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, I'm okay to wait. The great thing about GPUs is I've got a totally adequate GPU right now. My main weakness is actually my CPU just is too slow. And so that's the reason why I'm just going big on the CPU. Yeah, I was on a 980 Ti for such a long time, and just like nothing was appearing that was worth upgrading. You know, my GPU was sort of in this situation where I didn't want to upgrade it. Okay, let's find out what all these other cables do. So this, I presume, is the USB headers, and that needs to come out. The USB 3 is right there, so I should bring it out. This shouldn't go down all the way down here. It should come out here. I'm gonna take this off, bring it up one notch because it needs to. Come on through there, and then let's rewrap these. So the 980 Ti was great for such a long time, and we ended up transferring it to Orion's computer, but eventually it died, and I was very disappointed. So Orion's computer was my computer at one point. In fact, it was a computer that I bought so I could properly play Kerbal Space Program. This is a computer I bought so I could play Elite and Star Citizen, just so you know. And what basically happened, I will tie these down at some point. And so I bought a 980 Ti for that, whereas the original system I bought had a Radeon 7970, and at some point I actually won a card from the Descent Underground people, and I used that for a while, but then it broke, and I went back to the 7970, and then Orion got it, and at some point I gave him my 98 GTX 980 Ti, and he ran that for a while, and then it broke and is back on the 7970, and then I tried to give him this GTX 1660 Super, and his motherboard just doesn't want to talk to it, so he's still on that Radeon 7970. Yes, I did say Elite. I have multiple Elite accounts, but yeah, I was a. If you look at some of my early videos, you'll see me playing Elite. You'll see me actually doing an interview with David Braben. You'll see me getting drunk and talking with David Braben about space, right? So, like, we had a lot to talk about. Okay, here's power switch, power LED, reset switch. So I think this thing, okay, so what you're supposed to do is put all this stuff together, and then it comes down into the motherboard here. I think that's the panel. So it comes in down the bottom there. Yeah, that's right. So what I need to do is bring these things forward, and since it's at the bottom of the board, these are actually in the right place. So this stuff goes through here. You can see what's going on right now, right? And some more stuff goes through. Speaker, power, LED, all this stuff goes in here. HD, res, see. Do people still have hard disk lights that flicker on the front of their computer? Okay, so how did that end up come out through here? Wait a second. It's HD audio. Oh no, the audio. Did I put the audio through here? USB header. Where's the audio header on this thing? This is because this isn't the audio. This is speaker. Okay. Why is this so hard for me? Because I'm not reading the manual. There's the audio connector all the way over there. Why did I bring the audio header through up here when it needs to actually go all the way through here? I'm Scott freaking Manley. I know I will not be defeated by your lack of documentation. I find your lack of documentation disturbing, Commander. Apology accepted, Captain HDD. Never underestimate. This is why I shouldn't be involved in actual space hardware, because I don't read instructions. Because half the fun is not reading instructions. Now Linus will only just go and tell me how to do it. This is not right. The whole point is figuring out what I'm doing. It's fun. It's a puzzle. It's not like Lego, right, where it's a piece of art. This is a technical problem. Come on, who has all the best scores on Shenzhen IO? Okay. We're doing fine. Okay, here we go. What's this? This is USB. USB header is over here. I could actually, you know what? This USB header, I'm going to bring this out and put it through another slot. That's that one. Where did I put the USB header that I care about? This one here. This one comes back out with me. Out with. That's right, it's a very Scottish word. Out with. I'm going to actually slide this in behind those cables. Yeah, PC building is like Lego for poor people. There is some real truth to that. This has two USB headers on this motherboard. I think I've made a poor choice of case since I've only got one set of these. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm okay. Well, this motherboard has all these extra USB slots that I could use if I had a case that cared. Maybe I'll get an extra card if I need it. Yeah, I would be the kind of person who you would find out, oh no, I installed the inertial guidance unit upside down, and my response would be, ah, it's okay, I'll figure out how to fix it in software. How hard can it be to write software that flies your rocket in that, you know, with everything reversed? So yeah, so there's this big thing that adapts all this stuff, but there's only like 2 cables that actually go into it from this PC. There's power LED plus and minus. So that goes in like that. We just stick all this stuff together and it just pops into this little cradle. This is an interesting approach, for sure. Is that upside down in imperial or metric? Doesn't matter, we'll fix it in software. Okay. Right. Next we have the reset switch. So that's not on that side. Reset. Reset. It doesn't actually show us whether it's plus or minus, so I'm going to just randomly do it. I think it's a switch, it's probably non-polar. And this should just go in here. Reset is not polarized, except when it is. Case, I think I've got all the cables that came with the case connected. Right? All the cables are connected, right? We've got everything routed. I am going to put in, I don't know, I think I'll just go with the onboard graphics for this test. There's no sense in fitting this since I've already got the onboard. And then I'll move all my hardware over. Yeah, let's polarize. The processor fan is as large as a Raptor 2, yes. A2 and B2, really? Are you kidding me? I don't know what slots I used. I put them in the slots that worked for me previously, but if I need to move them, I can do this. I can fix it, right? Well, I'll probably do that. I'm not going to turn it on here and now for the simple reason that I have a lot of stuff to clear out and there's some actual bits that I need to pull out of another thing. Yeah, I can pull this fan off. It's not a problem if I need to move things around. Like at this point, I think I'm calling it a night here because I'm actually running out of power on this iPad. And the idea, so at this point, the idea is I'm going to run this up, start installing the OS, and once it's running, we'll see where it goes from there. Will it post? Well, so here's the thing. The monitor is currently plugged into my other computer, so we're going there, right? I'm going to check the RAM positioning before I turn it on, for sure. It is the 980 Pro and I will make sure that I do software updates. I'm going to look for all the software updates. Just pay attention to Twitter, right? This is where you will find out. I don't. If only there's a power receptacle like right there. They'll plug 120 volts from the wall straight into that iPad. You're building that PC. Now seriously, if you want to know how this goes, pay attention to Twitter, right? That's where you're going to find out if this succeeded or not. There's a few other things that I have to do, like put the case on. I'm going to have to temporarily add this disk. It'll just be like sitting on the bottom of this here. Did I run the cables for the GPU? That is another good point. I shall probably, I can run those cables. It's easy enough. VGA, right? Yeah, I'll guess I'll run a couple of those out of it, right? Twitter is for people with $8 and no drive to spend it on coffee. Yeah, and right now I'm paying the $8 because I want to be able to edit tweets, and frequently it doesn't let me edit tweets because apparently all the smart people at Twitter were let go. Yeah, so Kerbal Space Program 2, we're like 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away, can you believe it? Oh my goodness! I am drinking Golden Road Brewing Guava Cart Wheat Ale with guava. That's right. Did I mention guava? I like the word guava kind of rolls off my tongue. Guava. Guava. Okay, this is like some power extension cables, I guess. That's good to know. Didn't need those. I just turned the fan around. Turn the fan around. I had a lot of fun in Kerbal Space Program before the campaign thing ever came on the scene, right? It's not a big deal. I'm just trying to think what else I'm going to do. Yeah, so I definitely need to have the drive, and that's there. I'll just sit it on the bottom of my board, enjoying oscillation, a delicious glass of water. Oh yeah, and I've got my OEM version of thing. Have I played Kerbalism mod? That's like when there's more awards and things like that, right? You get experience for the Kerbals and everything. Yeah, Fandy, you've mentioned that several times. It's a 980 Pro. All the same, I'm going to be looking for all the software and everything updates before I let this thing, work on my daily driver. And the GPU will be a 3070, but right now it's using onboard graphics because I need to transplant the GPU from another computer, right? So if 980 Pros are also failing, I will make sure I get those updates, right? Because I want the best in wear leveling. Yeah, it says 980 Pro. Well, I hope it'll be upgradable. When I went to looked at my old PC, I was like, I'll just find out what the fastest CPU I can put in that socket is and upgrade the graphics card. And guess what? The CPU I bought when I built it was the fastest CPU I could put in that socket. And it was good for 7 years. You think that... Yeah, the drink, it does have a little bit of guava. Guava and passion fruit and beer. Let me bring the camera over. Wait a second. Why am I letting you sit so far back when I can bring the camera over to you? Hold on. All right, let's do this. Hi. Let's turn the camera around. So you can see it up close, right? We'll bring the flashlight on. So you can see what I've been doing. Okay, I'm trying to get around this thing and not fall. Okay, so look, monster monster cooler, but it does actually fit. That's great. So yeah, you can see we've got all the PCI sockets. Just mostly got this cabling under control. I'll probably do a little bit of cable ties here just to minimize, like this is kind of in the way. I may actually move those, I'll definitely take a look at what slot the RAM should be in. And that's fine because it's very easy to take those fans off. GPU is going to be a 3070. Right? So, and I've got some more like what do you call it? SDDS soft, more discs in here. These things. RAM is definitely wrong. I've forgotten. This is what happens, right? So anyway, let's bring the top of it up. Okay. It's nice that we got all these cables on the front because this is all going to be super hidden away. You see the cooler just hangs there, secure. It's not going to fall off. Let's bring this around. So look, the cable management on this side is a little better, right? Obviously, I'm going to be putting some discs on here, populating this with some of my other disk drives. Basically moving over what I can. I do have one 3.5. I think I have a couple of 3.5-inch discs that I'll copy over. Mostly because they just contain huge amounts of data. That case is a fractal design case. I'm excited, but I can't show you how this is going to work because it's going to take some time. This is also the back of the motherboard, by the way. So you can see, it has Wi-Fi. I don't need Wi-Fi. I'm going to be using this connector here. And hopefully all the air will get blown out the back and we won't have any air, stuff getting sung in. Nice amount of port. I know it's got all the ports I'll need. We have USB-C and USB 3, 4, 3.2, whatever. This will last me, assuming it boots up. It's nice. Okay, I'm gonna say goodnight, farewell. Hold on. Good night, farewell. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your contributions and super chats. Always appreciated. I do actually have some Lego sets that I need to build, but I need to make another video. I get a Deep Space updates that I have written, but I need to actually record. So there's probably going to be some new news soon. I'm going to be out of town for like the second half of last week. I won't be on Twitch on Tuesday night because I will be on a plane flying to Europe. Yes, things will be happening. Thanks for everyone that tuned in. Thanks for all your advice. And yes, I will make sure everything's done and I will post the updates on the Twitters and the Twitches and everything so that you know that this is succeeding and winning. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.